What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another installment of Casual Card News. It is me, Jello, the Casual Card Gamer, and today we got some stuff to talk about. We have two new ride lines revealed for Genesis of the 5 Greats, aka DBTO1, and some other cards that I missed, sadly, on Sunday because I didn't notice them until after I recorded and scheduled the video for release. Anyway, let's get straight into the news. Alright, so for those of you who are not Vanguard boomers, I am actually a Vanguard boomer. I've been playing for quite a long time now. Desert Gunners have always kind of been have always kind of been a meme, starting with Shiden. My friends and I would always say, yeah, I'll pay you to take this card from me, because he was never really that good. And for some reason, most Desert Gunners just haven't been, like, super pivotal to a lot of decks. Maybe I forgot their name, but it's an old Eradicator card that would gain 3k for every unit that you were retired. But I digress. I'm going off on a tangent, so I'm not going to go there. But we have a Desert Gunner-esque type of ride line for the Dragon Empire, and personally, these cards sort of fit that stereotype that I have of Desert Gunners. But anyway, we have that, and we have the new Link Joker. I'm just gonna call them Link Jokers. It's basically Link Jokers. We have the new Link Joker ride line as well for Brandt Gate. So let's get straight into that. So the first card that we have here is the starter double gun of the Duststorm Bart. So when rode upon, if you went second, draw a card. Very sweet and simple starting Vanguard. Next we have Gunning of Duststorm Nigel. When this card is rode upon by a Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm Randor, Soul Charge 1. And his second ability is when your opponent's rear guard is retired during your main phase, Counterblast 1, retire this unit, choose one of your opponent's rear guards and retire it. So it's a 1-for-1 basically, and it is triggered off of you retiring another unit. Now, I don't really like this ability because I don't like paying things to retire my own units just so I can retire another one, because there are other cards that already do that in this nation. So I don't know. I don't like it that much, but yeah, let's move into the next one. Next is Cataclysmic Bullet of Duststorm Randor. First ability is auto. When rode upon by heavy artillery of Duststorm Eugene, draw a card, choose up to one card from your drop zone, put it into your soul. So there's a lot of soul charging in this deck, and we will find out why. Second ability is when this unit attacks, if your opponent has 2 or less rear guards, counterblast 1, soul charge 1, and this unit gets +5 until the end of that battle. Now, depending on what state of the game you are in, this is not that good, because first of all, you're probably paying a lot of resources just to get rid of your opponent's rear guards, like with Nigel here, where he has to retire himself to retire another rear guard. Now, I say this because in a vacuum right now, these 4 cards, I don't really see what the win con is, because I've read Eugene, and I don't know. I'm iffy about it. If I'm wrong, if you think I'm wrong, tell me in the comments. Jello, you are dead wrong. This works really, really well with something. But right now, in terms of Dragon Empire, I'm just really looking forward to Virina Valiente. But anyway, it is okay. Like I said, a lot of these new ride lines are in the lower rarities, except for their grade 3, which is one of the triple R's of the nation. So if this is what Bushiroad is looking to be as the budget friendly decks, then I can see this being okay for the budget, because we're looking at all single R's, all commons, and 4 triple R's right now in terms of what you would need to get. And of course, start decks are really cheap. So I mean, it really is up to you. If this is your aesthetic, then go for it. I'm not stopping anybody from taking these decks. I just don't feel like there is much in it for me in terms of my enjoyment of using these decks. So it's a counterblast 1 for a soul charge and a +5. Now let's see where all that soul goes with our heavy artillery of Duststorm Eugene. So act once per turn on the Vanguard Circle. Cost rest 2 rear guards. Choose one of your opponent's rear guards, retire it, and this unit gets +10 until end of turn. That's okay. The resting 2 rear guards is okay. Now the next one is, if your opponent's rear guard was retired this turn, Soul Blast 5. Look at the same number of cards from the top deck as the number of opponent's rear guards. Choose any number of units, call them, put the rest into the soul. It's okay, but it leaves you at 2 rested rear guards, and then you get to call if you have 5 soul. Now, granted, once you hit, let's see, once you hit Randor, you're at least at, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So this can happen on a grade 3, on your first grade 3 turn, but I don't know. It just doesn't. It doesn't feel. You know, it doesn't feel like you can end a game with this, because looking at the rest of the units that you can bring out so far, like, I take all of this with a grain of salt because I'm just judging this off of what the competition is bringing out, and there are only 4 cards in this archetype right now, as speaking as right now. So if this would be really good on a Persona ride turn. But when you're looking at, you know, impact on your first grade 3 turn, I don't know. Personally, I don't know, because when I look at Chakrabarthi, it's kind of the same thing. Like, it could be good, but looking at it, comparing it to another archetype at the same time, doesn't do it justice right now. So I'd probably have to get my hands on this deck and try it out before I can give like my final verdict on it. But right now I'm a little underwhelmed by this first archetype. Anyway, that is it for the Gunners, the Desert Gunners. We're moving into the Link Jokers. So first is this cute little thing right here. That is the starter, and its ability again is if you go second and you ride it, draw a card. Next, we have Cardinal Noid Rutis. So when placed on the Vanguard Circle, search your deck for up to 1 world card. Reveal it and put it into your hand and shuffle your deck. So this is another Brandt Gate ride line that focuses on having set orders on the field. So instead of prisons, you have the world. So everything is a JoJo reference now. I swear, everything is just becoming a JoJo reference now. And second ability is, during the battle that this unit attacked or boost, if your world is Dark Knight or Abyssal Dark Knight, this unit gets plus 2,000. So we'll get into what Abyssal Dark Knight and Dark Knight are, but we'll just get through the units first. Next, we have the grade 2, Cardinal Noid Cubisia. When a world is put into your order zone, choose one of your units, and it gets plus 5k until end of turn. During your turn, if your world is Abyssal Dark Knight, this unit gets plus 5k. So that's pretty good. You give a small field buff to anything when you put a world into your order zone, and automatically gives himself plus 5 if you have Abyssal Dark Knight, if your worlds are Abyssal Dark Knight, and it is relatively easy to get to Abyssal Dark Knight. Let's talk about the grade 3. So this is Cardinal Deuce, Chaos Breaker Deck, Orfist. So first ability is continuous on the Vanguard or Rear Guard during your turn. If your world is Dark Knight or Dark Abyssal Knight, this unit gets plus 5k. So there is a passive buff that you can easily do all the time. Like, you don't have to do anything as long as you ride Rutis, which is really easy to do. Now, Orfist's second ability is, if your world is Abyss Dark Knight, Counterblast 2, and call up to 3 Shadow Army tokens to Rear Guard Circle. Now this is where it gets pretty crazy, because I'll show you guys what Shadow Army looks like, and they are 15k each. So you get to call 3 of these onto the field for basically nothing. You just counter. Oh, it's a counter blast too, but still, I mean, you don't need to use your hand. So looking at both of these, they're both okay. They both sort of do the same thing. They give themselves a passive. They give themselves a buff. They do give themselves a buff. Eugene's is a little bigger, granted, but Eugene's ability to bring out stuff, the cost is 5 Soul Blast. How often are you going to be able to do this consistently? Like, how often are you going to be able to have 5 soul to do this turn after turn after turn after turn? If this is going to be, your main Vanguard, because you just want to keep Persona riding. With Orfist, all you have to do is counterblast 2, and counterblasting 2 is not horrible for what it does. So you get 3 15k boosts or beaters, whatever you want to do with them. You just call them. You call 3 of them to the field, and they're just there. Now they are grade 1, which means they can boost, and they are 15k, which is pretty good. But yeah, I'm liking Orfist a lot more than this right now, than Eugene right now. I'm sorry, Eugene, but I gotta go with my Chaos Breaker buddy right here. Anyway, guys, if I'm dead wrong, you guys think that I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments. You can fight me, just be civil about it, all right? Anyway, moving into the next reveal, we have In the Darkness Nobody Knows. After a set order is played, put it into your order zone. So play this, cost 1 Soul Blast, which is not that bad, right? When this card is put into the order zone, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards and retire it. So you're basically soul blasting 1 to retire. Then its second ability is from the order zone. If your zone only has world cards, the following effects are active according to the number of cards in your order zone. So this is where the Dark World and the Dark Knight and Abyssal Dark Knight come into play. So if you have 1 world card in your order zone, then your world becomes Dark Knight. Wow, very simple, right? Yes, it is. And 2, if you have 2 or more, your world becomes Abyssal Dark Knight. So that's literally, you're enabling the entire deck just by putting 2 of these into the order zone. Now that's not very hard, right? It is not. You just have to be grade 3. Again, it's not that hard because you search 1 off of Brutus, and I believe there's another way to get other ones, but you're playing a bunch of orders anyway, so you'd probably just draw into them naturally. Sometimes, not all the time. Anyway, moving into the next. All right, and the second one is a grade 2 world and is called Howling Moonlit Night. So same thing. After a set order is played, put it into your order zone. Play this with a Soul Blast 1. When a card is put into your order zone, draw a card. So you're either retiring or drawing a card. But both are pretty good, depending on the situation, which one you have. Now, the second ability is the same. If you have 1, then your world becomes Dark Knight. If you have 2 or more, then your world becomes Abyssal Dark Knight. Now, the key thing to remember here is if your order zone only has world cards, which means you won't be able to splash this into a Seraph Snow deck because those are prisons and not worlds. Okay. Yeah, that should be I think that's how this works. But anyway, that is the second world. So you have 2 worlds to play around with. Both are really nice. Dio is very happy because you have Zawarudo everywhere. Anyway, moving into some other stuff. I believe this was shown when? When was this shown? March 22nd. Yeah, so this was shown after. I saw this after I did the reveal for stuff. So this card is Martial Art Dragon Gordog Dragon. Its ability is when this card gets discarded during your turn and you have a set order in your order zone, you can call this to a rear guard circle. Now that's pretty good. Now I don't remember where any of the discards are. It might have been in the Seraph Snow build, but this is pretty good. The counterblast, like I said, I'm not really sure of, but yeah, he's here. Looks pretty cool. I feel like this is the representation of Nova. I want to say Nova Grappler, if not Dimension Police. He looks like a villain, but anyway, yeah. Oh, he's a martial art dragon. Yeah, so he's it's a Nova Grappler. Okay, and that's it. No strong opinions on this card. It's just a rare. So whether or not people will use it, we'll have to see once, the meta starts to form. But other than that, it's a nice card art, and the effect is okay depending on the situation. Next, we have Super Speed Robo Shovel Stud. Shovel Stud. Yeah, I don't know I'm sorry if I couldn't pronounce that properly. Anyway, activates on the rear guard once per turn. Costs Counterblast 1 and Soul Blast 1. Choose an opponent's rear guard and imprison it. After that, if your opponent has 3 or more imprisoned cards, draw 1 card. This is really good on a Seraph Snow turn because Seraph Snow automatically imprisons 2, and then all you gotta do is imprison 1 more, and you get the extra drive checks and a draw card, and you get to draw. So pretty good. It is a double R, which explains, it's a pretty good synergy. But anyway, that's nice. And then we're moving into more Stoicheia stuff. So we're starting to see the double R's of the set finally. We're still yet to see the over triggers other than the Dragon Empire one, but we'll get that eventually. Anyway, this first card is Spurring Maiden Alenia. So her ability is, when placed on the rear guard from hand, Counterblast 1, Soul Blast 1, choose a grade 2 or less from your drop. Call it to a rear guard circle, and it gets plus 5k until end of turn. That's pretty good. It helps, I'm guessing, I'm more inclined to play this in Magnolia deck because right now the Zorga ride line is looking really, really resource intensive. So I think this would work a lot better with Magnolia because you'd be able to call things to the back row and give it a boost so that it attacks bigger once you activate Magnolia's ability. Next, we have this freaky looking boy. I don't know its name. I'm just reading off of the description here. So auto, when this unit is placed on rear guard, choose one of your other rear guards. It gets plus 5k until end of turn. This is probably another good card for Magnolia because it is a costless field buff. Now, how effective this will be or how much this will be used, especially once we start getting the more high rarity cards that'll probably turn into staples for each ride line, I don't know. I don't know how well this will, how well this will stay looking good, but like I said, still a good budget way to increase your field power for Magnolia, or even Zorga, but I'm leaning more towards Magnolia. Anyway, the last card here is another order card for our depressed blue boy. So there's a Counterblast 2 to play. Choose your opponent's Vanguard. It gets -1 crit for the battle. Okay, that's pretty cool. This is a blitz order, I'm guessing, because this is red, so I'm just guessing that it's blitz. I haven't seen a blitz order in a while. But yeah, that is pretty good. The only issue I have is the Counterblast 2 on this, because again, this deck takes up so many resources already. So balancing that will be up to anybody who plays this deck, myself included, because I really want to try this deck out because it looks really fun. But yeah, it's a solid card. You can take that 5th damage, you can take that 4th damage a little safer now. So all you got to do is pay Counterblast 2, and if your opponent doesn't drive check a crit, you're all good. You're all good. Anyway, that is everything for today, everybody. I hope that you enjoyed my rambling this morning, and yeah, have a great day. I am Jelly the Casual Card Gamer. Take care.